All right, now we get to left brain, right brain memory techniques, Mr. Chinapi. As I mentioned, make a little note on this. Dr. Roger Sperry, S-P-E-R-R-Y, CalTECH. I think a lot of the stuff that he did back in the 70s is probably controversial today. He was working with primates, monkeys, chimpanzees, and he was experimenting with the processing of the two hemispheres of the brain. You got the left side of the brain, and you got the right side of the brain, these two hemispheres, okay? And through his work, Sperry learned that the left side of the brain, among other things, processes logical, verbal, sequential information, such as words and sentences and bullets. That is all processed on the left side of your brain, okay? The right side of the brain, in addition to a host of other things, processes emotion, visuals, and intuition, okay? This is a fact. This is based on research. CalTECH, Dr. Sperry got the Nobel Prize 1981 in medicine for this, okay? So the left side of the brain processes words and verbiage. The right side processes images and diagrams. Now, these two hemispheres are connected to each other with a thick layer of nervous tissue called the corpus callosum. You see, these two hemispheres are talking to each other through a thick layer of nervous tissue called the corpus callosum. So there's information going back and forth between the left side and right side of the brain. So the theory is, if you can take an image and you can put it next to the bullet, you're using your entire brain to process that information. You just stored it in your long-term memory. Works too. Well, I taught for 10 years. And let me tell you, and I taught my students this, and I can't tell you all the time when I ask the students a question about that bullet, first thing the kids do is they pull the image out of their mind, out of their head, they start drawing down the image, and then they explain the image to me. I'm telling you, as soon as you associate a bullet with an image, or an image with a bullet, you're using your whole brain, and you just stored that in your long-term memory. That's how it works. Okay? You got that? Alright, so now the last part, so now we talk about reinforcement, using the left side and right side of the brain. Last step. Now guys, listen. This is the last step of the study process. And because it's the last step, it's most often neglected due to a lack of time. This is where time management becomes very important. You don't want to leave all your studying for the night before the exam. It's too much to do. You know, you're going to go through it, you're going to separate, you're going to take down your notes, then you got to go back and you got to put your images next to the bullets. That's the last step. Oftentimes it doesn't get done, but it's critical because that's what puts information in your long-term memory. So that's why you don't want to do this the night before the test. You got to tell your teachers, you got to give us a little bit of warning about a test. I did at least 2 or 3 days. That way there you can adequately study. This is the last step right here. You might want to do that the night before the test. Or you can do it as you're taking the notes. It's all up to you, but it's got to be done as much as humanly possible. Okay? Now, use both. This is going to let you use both sides of the brain for long-term memory, as I said, and recall. Requires use of visual pictures, diagrams, and images next to the bullets for your notes. The left side processes words and written information. The right side processes visuals. Use a visual to help you remember a bullet. It's easier to accomplish with a computer. Very effective technique for retention and recall. I want you all to say that. I want you to say retention and recall. Retention and recall. That's key. That's key to getting good marks on test. You've got to retain the information and you've got to have the ability to recall it. This will help you. Right here. Okay? So that's the last R in SQ4R. I call that reinforcement. So altogether, I call my method 21st century study skills because we're adding the technology of computer note-taking and we're adding left brain, right brain memory techniques to SQ3R that was developed in 1942 and was proven to be very effective. We're adding that to SQ3R and we're making it even better.